Oh, good morning to you. Here we are, just 2 days away from the most glorious holiday of them all, St. Patrick's Day. Don't you know it's a wonderful holiday? When everybody's wearing the green so as not to get pinched. And eating the cabbage and the corned beef for good luck, and drinking the green beer just because it's green. And trying to speak with an Irish brogue, although it's not coming across kind of Irish, is it? But the Irish, when seen through the portal of St. Patrick's Day, everything Irish seems to be so fun and so festive and celebratory and magical and imaginative. And of course we think of the luck of the Irish. You're familiar with that term, the luck of the Irish. Oh, wouldn't you be lucky if you spied a wee man, a little leprechaun, and he gave you all of his gold? Wouldn't you be lucky? Wouldn't you be lucky if you followed the rainbow clear to the end and there was a pot of gold and you were rich without a care in the world? Wouldn't you be lucky? Wouldn't you be lucky if you found a 4-leaf clover and your wishes came true? Oh, you'd be so lucky. Let me ask you, do you want to feel lucky or do you want to feel loved and worthy? Do you want to feel lucky or do you want to feel supported and surrounded and sustained by an infinite presence? Do you want to feel lucky or do you want to feel abundant and satisfied, fulfilled and successful all the time? The definition of luck is good fortune that seems to happen by chance. Well, we don't operate by chance. Here at Unity Center of the Desert, we don't operate on luck. We stand firmly on spiritual principles, or you could call them universal laws. And the first principle of unity is basic to our spiritual understanding of what abundant living really means. It says, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe as my life, God the good. So this energy that most of us call God is good, and it's everywhere present, all the time. It is with you always. It goes before you, behind you, above you, below you, to the left, to the right, and guess what? Within you. All the time. Did I say all the time? You know, I remember one time when I was lucky. I was at Sam's Club, and I was out in the parking lot, and I parked my car, and I opened the door, and I looked down, and there's 8 $1 bills. I was so lucky. For weeks after that, every time I went to Sam's Club, I would try to park in the same place or near the same place, hoping that I would find 8 $1 bills. And then I realized that when I did find those 8 $1 bills, it was a windy day. So then I realized every time I go to Sam's Club and it's windy, I'll park in that same place or near that same place, hoping, fingers crossed, that I find 8 $1 bills. The truth is that God is omnipresent, everywhere present. And it could be that I was so busy looking in that one part of the parking lot for hoping, fingers crossed, that I'd find those 8 $1 bills that I missed the beautiful blue skies above me and the warm sun on my face. I was so honed in on hoping to find those $1 bills that I missed seeing my friends who were shopping at the same time I was. And sometimes we're so, can I say obsessed? So intent on recreating a sliver that felt lucky from the past that we miss the flow, the constant flow of all of God in our life. We miss the abundance and the beauty and the creativity and the freedom, even the friendship and the love. Speaking of crossing your fingers, you know where this came from? in the early church, the first Christians would invoke the power of the cross when they were confronted with evil. And that superstition carried on through the 16th century into Europe, where they thought that if somebody coughed or sneezed, that was evil, and so they would make the sign of the cross to ward off that evil. Isn't that silly? Want to see a magic trick? Undo silly superstition and stand in the peace of God. Thank you very much. But this one creative power is not affected by our ignorant talk of loss or failure or limitation or illness or poverty or lack or any of those things, although we are affected by them, because it's through what I call our energetic abilities, our thoughts and our words and such, that we bring that infinite energy into expression in our lives. So, what's called for instead is to develop what Charles Fillmore called a consciousness of the permanency of the omnipresent substance. I like to call it a consciousness of consistent good. You like that? A consciousness of consistent good. God is everywhere. God is good. Good is everywhere. But, of course, turning our minds around and beginning to realize this consciousness of consistent good in our lives and in our world is about as easy for most people as it would be as changing the wearing of the green to the wearing of the purple. But it can be done. And it must be done if we are to live abundant lives. The Master Teacher Jesus did it. When he was standing before the Roman authorities, surrounded by an angry mob that was hurling false accusations toward him, he stood steadfast, immovable, knowing who he was and what life was all about. He spoke not a word. He didn't reply, didn't respond, didn't react to those misguided beliefs and accusations. And in the same way, we can stand strong. We don't have to be blown about. Sometimes up, sometimes down. Sometimes feast, sometimes famine. Sometimes cared and comforted. Sometimes feeling left out in the cold. No, we can stand firm on a foundation of consistent good. We should be empowered and emboldened by that kind of awareness. And we should see that consistent good showing up in our life all the time, a constant, abiding, abundant, ever-present, ever-ready energy. So, ask yourself this question. Do I really believe that God the Good is everywhere, all the time? Do you believe that God is with you in the doctor's office? Do you believe that God is with you when you're signing legal documents? Do you believe that God is with you when you're driving your car or maneuvering your motorhome? Do you believe that God is with you when you're dealing with difficult situations or stressful situations or complex emotions? Or is God just in one corner of the parking lot? Just there when the planets align? Just there when you've had enough sleep, or you have enough money in the bank, or when you've got your lucky penny in your pocket? Living your life based on luck is believing in a chaotic universe that is based on happenstance. Instead, we want to turn that around and develop a consciousness of consistent good in our lives, knowing that that small voice, that still small voice within us, longs for us to be abundant, cheers for us to be loved and fulfilled and successful, desires for us to feel worthy and cared for. Luck also breeds competition. Oh, they're so lucky they have such a great relationship. Oh, he's so lucky he drives such a nice car. Oh, she's so lucky she has such a beautiful house. Looking outside ourselves. Here's another one. This one just really gets me. He's so lucky that God blessed him with such good looks. That just boggles my mind. Luck and bless in the same sentence. It doesn't go together. But luck breeds competition. We look outside ourselves. We compare ourselves to others. We look at their life and what seems to be magically happening for them, as if the sun is shining on them, but not on us. As if they're riding in God's pocket. Aren't they lucky? And we're left to fend for ourselves. Luck breeds competition, but abundant living breeds prosperous community. And the second principle of unity is basic to our spiritual understanding of how abundant living breeds prosperous community. It says, we are spiritual beings created in God's image. Our essence is God. Therefore, we are inherently good. And as we realize our oneness with God, as we really get it, that we are unified with the energy of the universe, that in it we live and move and breathe and have our being, and by it we are prospered, we realize that we're created in God's image. Then we realize all people are created in God's image. We are one. There's no distinction between you and me. There's that in the way, but there's no distinction between you and me. There's no separation between us. We are all sons and daughters of the Most High. We are all joint heirs of this abundant life. The thing is, some of us read ahead just a bit to the third principle, and we realize that this infinite, invisible energy that all things are made from responds to our faith in it. This unfailing resource is always available, always ready to give. It can do nothing other than give. That's its nature. And as we pour our faith into this infinite God substance or God energy, and we turn our energetic abilities towards it, energetic abilities like our thoughts and our words and our beliefs, our feelings, our imagination, our vision, as we turn that toward all that God is, abundance, beauty, creativity, fulfillment, love, all that God is and only what God is, it begins to manifest. It shows up as good in our lives. We are prospered. The third principle of unity, you all are familiar with that. You should have it memorized by now. We've been talking about it so much. It says, we are co-creators with God, creating reality through thoughts held in mind. There's no hocus pocus. No wizardry, no wizard behind the curtain. There's just the back door. There's no luck or chance or magic when you're working with spiritual law. We have a perfect pattern, and the results are guaranteed. The master teacher, Jesus, said it like this. If anyone does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. You see, we don't wish, we know. We don't hope, we affirm. Back in 1925, Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the leading New Thought authors and teachers of the time, wrote a book, and here's my beat-up old copy of it, but The very first chapter is simply called The Game. And on the very first page, she says, most people consider life to be a battle. Isn't that true? Many people are battling with themselves and with those around them, with nature, with God. Most people think that life is a battle, but it is not a battle. It is a game. It is a game, however, which cannot be played successfully without the knowledge of spiritual law. Oh, it is a great game of luck and chance. Oh, wait, that's not what that says there. It's a great game of giving and receiving. I call it cosmic circulation, because it's actually God doing the giving and God doing the receiving. God giving through us, God receiving as us. Did you get that? Cosmic circulation, God giving through us, God receiving as us. There's a fountain flowing, and it is deep, and it is wide. This abundant fountain is where all things come from. And as you begin to individually realize this abundant fountain that flows in and through and around and as you, and you put your faith in it, it begins to show up in your life. And that has an effect on all those around you. And as you begin to open up and realize a consciousness of consistent good in your life, it begins to show up in your life, manifest in your life. And that has an effect on those around you. And as you begin to lift your eyes and see prosperity all around you, it manifests in your life, and that has an effect on all those around you. So as each one of us, as each life begins to become a witness for abundant living, we all become channels of His expression. As you become conscious of consistent good, and the more confident you become of its circulation in and through your life, then we're all lifted up. The good begins to manifest in your life, and the greater good for all. So the whole community is lifted up, and we become surrounded in a spirit of prosperity. No room for lack. We live in prosperous community. Does that sound good to you? So, are you feeling lucky, or are you feeling abundant? Are you full of luck, or are you full of faith? Are you leaving your life to chance, or are you placing your trust in an infinite energy that is always there, always ready to give? I hope you all are. Trust life, trust God, trust good. And so it is. Okay. Let's go into a meditation time.